Hey, Pounder. How much does it cost to be Bob's new best friend?
Well, I charge by the hour, so it's costing Bob a lot.
Oh, no. Mondo Freako. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Mondo Freako. I've got Jeff Ponder with me. And Jeff's my new best friend.
That's
if
true.
You hadn't noticed on the screen.
Yep. We are definitely best friends. We've done one show together already, so that makes us best friends.
Exactly. Yeah. What do they call that? Fast friends, best friends? What do they call that?
Fast friends, I think, is
correct.
Let's go with that.
So tell them about the Ponder cast. We'll just get the plug in right away. How about that?
Yeah, that works for me. So yeah, I'm running something called, first of all, I've got a large background in podcasting. I don't know if your audience is global or if they're kind of central to St. Louis, but I've been podcasting about the St. Louis Blues for, oh my goodness, since 2011. Bob, I think you were, you were 65 in 2011.
That's
correct?
Right. I was somewhere in that range. Exactly.
Yep. So,
yeah,
I decided after a while, because we kind of ran the show like a radio show. I'm like, man, the best conversations are just when it's kind of spur of the moment. So I decided to come up with my own kind of interview / conversational podcast, and it's called The Pondcast, Conversations That Go Nowhere.
Did I say Pondcast? I'm sorry.
You did. That's okay. I'm docking your pay for that. So, but
well, I just looked at your last name. I'm like, I know it's part of his last name. I know it's something like that.
I toyed around with Pondercast just because it does fit the last name perfect, but I'm like, podcast, Pondcast, and my logo, my idea, it actually is most people, I've had a couple people guess it, but the logo for the show is literally a car in the middle of a lake, and I got the idea from The Office. For anyone who watches that Michael Scott, drives his car. He laked it, as they say.
Right. Yeah. And he was listening to the GPS voice.
Right. And so my thought was, the second part of the show is called Conversations That Go Nowhere. So it's a car that went nowhere. So that's kind of the whole idea. So I thought, stick with Pondcast. That works.
That's better than, who was that lady that drove her kids into the water? Anyway, it's better than that. Don't go on to it. I shouldn't have brought it up. I'm sorry.
Yes. But yeah, we use a random topic generator is the whole idea on the show. And we literally, in the middle of the moment, just hit enter, boom, it gives us a topic. Bob, you came on, and ours was it impulse buying?
I think it was, where do your socks go in the dryer?
Right next to the Braunschweiger.
Yeah, no, it was impulse buying. You're correct.
Okay, yeah. So we had a fun time with that, and we're only about 13 episodes in now, and it's been a blast. So I'm enjoying it. It's going to be around for a while. I don't care if I get 5 downloads an episode. It's been fun.
There you go. That's the way to be. Are you looking for guests in case anybody's listening and say, "Hey, I could be a guest on the podcast"?
So my one stipulation with having a guest, and yes, anyone is welcome to contact me, is that you just have to be quick on your feet. And so obviously, Bob, like that impulse buying came across, and it's like, okay, this is what we're talking about. You can't have all right, can you give me about 10 minutes to prep with that one? No, we're going right into it.
You have to have your own AI mind.
Exactly.
To get these answers very quickly. You can't type it in. There's no time for typing.
When I did I did a couple kind of promo shows, what else? Pilots. I did a couple pilot episodes, and I had a friend come on, someone I knew since high school, and so I picked her because I was like, you're a witty person, you're going to be good at this. And so she'd never done a podcast before, and so when it came up with her topic, she literally goes, "Okay, let me type this into AI on what to say," and then she kind of like started acting like she was typing. She's going, and I go, Jen, that's not the point of the show. She's like, "I'm just messing with you." And I was like, "Oh, you got me."
Well, we have a somewhat random topic today. You did influence the topic because normally here on Mondo Freako, we do things that are cryptids, paranormal, supernatural, or UFOs. And then I asked you, I was like, well, what area would you like? And I think hopefully you said UFO because that's what I've got for you today.
I told you that I would be glad with any of those. If it's just random, that's fine. But I said the area that I'm most interested in is probably UFO.
All right. So we got to go. And now I give the guest a choice. So we always do a quiz on this show. And I give the guest the choice to do the quiz before they find out more about what it is or after they know what it is. So I'll let you know what's going to happen if you do the quiz early. You may already know something about this, and we'll find out. It's kind of like find out what you know. If you do it after what I'll tell you about the topic, then, it's a little bit easier of a quiz then, but I'll let you make the choice.
Okay. I am all for the randomness of whatever this conversation is. Let's do the quiz first.
All right.
Quiz.
I'm not sure if you can read that.
Quiz.
I tried to make it as big as I could there.
Yeah, I see it.
So this is our quiz, and that reveals the topic. The St. Clair Triangle UFO incident in the St. Louis area in 2000. We have 7 questions. I do have a hint if you really want it. And let's find out how well Ponder of the Pondcast, not the Pondercast, does with these questions. So first question. In what year? Oh, no, the answer is right there. In what year did the St. Clair Triangle UFO incident occur in the St. Louis, Illinois area? 1997, 2000, 2003, 2005. Do you want the hint?
I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark and say 2000.
Yeah, I forgot to take that off. You're right. The St. Clair Triangle incident occurred in January of 2000, making it one of the most well-documented UFO cases of that era. Only 20-some years ago, 26 years ago. All right, that was a give me, right?
Okay, that was
like
a
mulligan.
easy.
Oh, this is a little too big here. Let's see if I can make that smaller. There we go. So, which Illinois town gave the St. Clair Triangle incident its name and served as a central location for the sightings? It's not St. Clair, by the way, Jeff.
I knew that.
Was it Belleville, O'Fallon, Shiloh, or Lebanon?
I believe
I've got a hint if you want it.
I'm gonna let's stay away from the hint. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's one of the most haunted areas in the Midwest. I believe it's Belleville, so I'm gonna go with that.
Belleville? Let's see. That's correct. All right. Belleville is right. The incident is often called the Belleville Triangle or the St. Clair County Triangle because of many of the key sightings occurred in and around Belleville, Illinois, which is in St. Clair County, if people didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So you got 2 out of 7. You're doing fantastic.
All right.
Number 3. What was a defining physical characteristic of the craft reported by multiple witnesses during the St. Clair Triangle incident? Was it A, a cigar-shaped silver fuselage, B, a large triangular or boomerang shape with lights, C, a spinning disc with colored rings, or D, a glowing orb that changed colors?
This feels like a trick question because obviously it's the St. Clair Triangle UFO, and you have one in there about a triangular shape with lights.
Mm-hmm.
God, that's such a. Give me the hint. Let's see
you
the
want
hint.
the hint? Okay.
Yep.
The incident's nickname gives away the shape.
There it is. Okay, I'm gonna go with B.
All right,
triangular boomerang shape.
I made it too easy. There we go. Multiple witnesses, including police officers, described a massive silent craft with a distinct triangular or boomerang shape adorned with bright lights on the underside. So you're 3 out of 7. You're almost 50% at this point.
That is 50% by my math.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously a product of the St. Louis Public School District.
That's correct.
What made the St. Clair Triangle incident particularly credible compared to many other UFO reports? Was it A, captured on live television broadcast, B, multiple on-duty police officers from different jurisdictions reported seeing the craft, C, the U.S. Air Force officially confirmed the sighting, or D, physical landing marks were found at a local farm?
Ooh, okay. I think I remember this. So I believe it's the on-duty police officers from different jurisdictions reported seeing the craft. Let's go with that.
Okay, so you're going to go with B. Wow, you're on a roll.
Yes.
4 out of 7. You've broken the 50%. You are going to pass this test most likely. Two more.
Just
more
good
questions.
enough to pass. That was
Just
kind of
barely
my
enough to pass.
my mantra in high school. So
That's right.
perfect.
C students still get hired.
That's right.
All right. So number 5, approximately what size did witnesses estimate the triangular craft to be during the St. Clair Triangle incident? A, about the size of a passenger car. B, about the size of a small house. C, as large as a football field or even larger. Or D, about the size of a commercial airliner.
I think I'm going to use the hint, but I think it's the last one. I think it's the size of a commercial airliner.
Let's see. You want to take the hint first?
Says. Yeah, let's do the hint.
Witnesses were stunned by its enormous scale.
So that probably leaves it as C or D. Let's go with my instinct. Let's go with D, the commercial airliner.
Oh, first bad one.
Dang.
I get the wah-wah. It was as large as a football field or even larger. Witnesses described the object as being enormous. Estimates suggested it was roughly the size of a football field or even larger, which we already said, which contributed to the shock and awe reported by those who observed it. Wow, but that's your first bad one. I mean, you got 4 right so far. You're not doing terrible.
I was a C student in high school. Let's keep that rolling, right?
There you go. Yeah, and you're showing it right now.
Exactly.
You are performing at the level you were meant to. No, I'm just joking. So number 6, which of the following best describes how the craft behaved during the St. Clair Triangle sightings? A, it moved at supersonic speed and vanished instantly. B, it hovered slowly and silently at low altitude before drifting away. C, it performed erratic zigzag maneuvers at high altitude. Or D, it landed briefly before taking off vertically. I have a hint if you want it.
Yes, I'd say I'm about 80% confident it is not the last one.
Okay.
Let's go with the hint. Yeah, let's do it.
Go with the hint. Its quiet, unhurried movement was part of what unsettled the witnesses.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It didn't just disappear. It just kind of sat there for a minute. So I'm going to go with the second one. It hovered slowly and silently at low altitude before drifting away.
Going with B. Here we go. Yes, that's right. Fantastic. One of the most striking and consistently reported features was the craft moved slowly and silently at a very low altitude, defying conventional explanations for known aircraft behavior. 5 out of 7. You're not doing that bad at all. We got one last question just to finish it out. I mean, you've done great. The St. Clair Triangle incident has been frequently cited in UFO research as significant, partly because of how investigators documented it. Which organization or researcher is the most associated with formally investigating this case? Was it A, SETI Institute, B, MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, C, the Pentagon's ATIP program, AATIP, or D, NASA's UAP Task Force?
I think the obvious answer would be the last one, but I believe it's the SETI Institute. Tell you what, just for fun, I don't know if I want to curse. I almost said something, but let's go with let's do the hint.
You're going to go with the hint. All right.
Yep.
The hint says the civilian organization investigates UFO sightings across North America.
So yeah, civilization. So yeah, it's not NASA. So let's go with SETI.
Go with SETI. Oh my gosh.
Dang.
Well, you got 5 out of 7. It was the MUFON, which is the Mutual UFO Network, conducted one of the most thorough investigations of the St. Clair Triangle incident, collecting witness testimony from multiple officers and helping bring the case to a wider public attention. A very good effort, I must say. 5 out of 7. That's pretty darn good. Considering you went cold. I mean, you totally went in cold. You didn't get prepped. Would you like to hear the quick story that I have of the St. Clair Triangle?
Yeah, let's
get into
do it.
Our discussion.
I'm excited. Let's hear it.
Okay, let me see. I think I have some music, but maybe not.
I love story time with a cartoon cat. It's
the
best
do you?
thing in the world. Oh, yeah.
There you go. In the pre-dawn hours of January 5th, 2000, a massive, silent, triangular craft slowly drifted across the night sky just east of St. Louis, Missouri, triggering one of the most credible multi-jurisdictional UFO sightings in American history. The incident began around 4 a.m. in Highland, Illinois, when a local businessman spotted an enormous, brightly lit object resembling a flying house moving at low altitude. He immediately contacted local authorities. Over the next 45 minutes, the mysterious craft traveled southwest, where it was independently observed, tracked, and pursued by uniformed police officers across the communities of Lebanon, Shiloh, and Millstop. What elevates the St. Clair Triangle incident above typical UFO folklore is the sheer reliability of its witnesses and the official paper trail they left behind. The primary observers were on-duty law enforcement officers who used their police radios to coordinate their sightings in real time. They consistently described a colossal, arrowhead-shaped structure, roughly the size of a football field, that flew as low as 500 feet. The craft featured brilliant white lights at its corners and a blinking red light in the center, and it possessed the uncanny ability to change speeds instantly from near stationary hover to an incredible burst of acceleration, all while remaining completely silent. The proximity of the flight path to Scott Air Force Base added a layer of intense intrigue to the event. Despite the object passing near the military installation, base officials later stated that they had no aircraft in the air and that their radar had picked up absolutely nothing. While independent investigators from the National Institute for Discovery Science, NIDS, later theorized that the object could have been a highly classified lighter-than-air military prototype utilizing advanced propulsion, no official explanation has ever been provided, leaving the St. Clair Triangle a profound, undocumented mystery. Wow. What do you think about that, Jeff?
That is, I'll admit, I do not remember this in real time. I don't remember this happening in 2000, but I do remember that it happened, or I do remember hearing about it about 5 or 6 years later when I was in college. And one of my teachers, I think we were reading some weird book about UFOs or something in an English class. And he said, yeah, this reminds me of the St. Clair incident a couple of years ago. And I remember we're all like, what? Because I grew up in St. Charles and we had no interest or nobody knew about it. And so I looked it up when I got home and was like, this is fascinating that so many. I mean, the thing that gets me is the amount of police officers that saw it from different jurisdictions. This wasn't hey, let's play a prank on the public and a couple cops got together and and this was literally in the moment. Like, what do you see this up here? What is this?
Yeah. And so the first sighting was by a guy named Melvin Knoll, who owned a miniature golf course in Highland, Illinois. He's the one who called it in. And then I've got a timeline here. It's got the first sighting, apart from Melvin, was from a Lebanon police officer, Ed Barton, at 4:15 a.m. And then he kept track of it. And then at 4:15 a.m., I'm sorry. And then at 4:20 a.m., David Martin from Shiloh, who's another police officer, spotted it. And then the final report came at 4:30 a.m. from Millstat police officer Craig Stevens, who actually took a Polaroid photo of it because he had, at the time, a Polaroid camera in his car for police work. And he got a picture, but it was very, very blurry picture.
Just like every UFO sighting we've ever seen.
Exactly. But he's the last one to see it at 4:30 in the morning in January. So let me see if I can find a picture. His picture, it's a pretty famous picture. So let's see if I can search that out real quick and I can show you. It may not be able to find it here because whenever you search for UFO stuff, you just get so much crap on the.
Oh yeah.
On the,
I'm seeing a couple here. I'm not sure if this is it or not, but if that is, wow,
if it's a Polaroid picture that looks like it's got 3 lights on it or 4 lights on it, then that's it.
Yeah, this might be it.
Well, go ahead and you can share it. I think you can share.
Let's see here. Share screen.
Yeah.
Share screen.
I'm not finding it in my quick search here.
Is it? Hang on. Is it that?
Yeah, that's it. Well, that's a rendering of it. His picture is actually much more blurry than that. It's that second one there with the on your left. Yeah, the one from that's his picture.
Yep, that is That is your typical UFO photo that that you will see.
Yeah, so you see the red light there, and you see the white lights, and it's all squiggly because obviously it was dark, and you can kind of make out the shape of the vehicle there.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, that is simply not a commercial aircraft or a jet from Sky Air Force Base or anything like that. It's clearly something we've never seen before.
So now what we have to discuss here is, what was it? So before we get to that, actually, I want to tell you that I lived in the area. I am not from St. Louis. I came to St. Louis back in 1992. I don't remember this incident because I lived, where did I live at that point? Anyway, I think I lived in University City at that point, and I don't remember. But then I moved, and I actually lived close to the path of where this went, probably about 2 years after it happened. And so it's not a super well developed area, and there was a documentary made called UFO over Illinois, hosted by Peter Jennings, who was the anchor for ABC News for many, many, many years. Wow. He made a UFO documentary like in 2001 called UFO over Illinois. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's really quite a good documentary.
That's pretty cool that Peter Jennings did it. I mean, that's a big deal. So
because they had all the all the police officers, and he talked to the police officers.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's what made it also even better was here. I'm going to bring it up on IMDb and see if I can't share it. But it's it's actually quite a good documentary. It is on IMDb, but it doesn't have many details. I don't know why. Maybe he didn't. After he did it, he was like, why the hell did I do that? I don't know. But there it is, UFO over in Illinois. It only got 6.8. I thought it was a pretty good documentary, and Peter Jennings was the host of it, even though it doesn't even mention that on here, which is interesting. I don't know if you can find it because I don't see that it's playing anywhere. I happened to catch it oddly one time, which I don't even remember where I watched it. It was obviously on streaming at some point, but it was closer to like the 2010s, I think, when I finally saw it. But anyhow, but with that, so we have to ask the question, because it went right. So if you go from Highland to Shiloh to Millstadt, right, to Lebanon to Shiloh to Millstadt, between Lebanon and Shiloh, you are right there by Scott Air Force Base.
Yep.
And in fact, chances are it went right over parts of Scott Air Force Base.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to ask yourself, was this a military thing?
Very easily could have been. It could have been a test of some spy cam, or maybe even like some new type of jet. I don't know. But I mean, the fact that Scott Air Force Base didn't come out right away and quash the rumor of, oh, hey, we were just doing some, what do they always say? It was flight tests, or there's a certain word they use, but I forget what it's called. Something about training, something, I can't remember what they call it, but yeah, they, the fact that they didn't come out right away and just say, yeah, that was us. Don't worry about it. No big deal.
Right. Yeah.
It does make you wonder, like, so then what was it?
So, I'm
training exercise. That's the word. That's the phrase I was looking for. Training exercise.
Oh, right. Yeah. It was it was a training exercise.
Yep.
It's very interesting because it was so close. And if you look, I did a little thing here, and you see kind of the way it went and so forth. But right in here, so here's Highland. Right around here is I don't know if you can see my mouse. That's the only problem. Right in here is the Air Force Base. Can you see my mouse moving there?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so right in there is the Air Force Base. So no matter which way the path here, that is about as close as you get to the Air Force Base. So when I first heard about this, I thought, well, that's strange. Why wouldn't the Air Force know? Why wouldn't they be looking at the sky? Number one, you know what I mean? You think they would be kind of watching for things,
Right.
considering the whole defending the country. And I don't know if people realize, but Scott Air Force Base has been extremely instrumental in the last 20 years in dealing with some problems in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to live not too far from Scott Air Force Base, and I knew when something was happening because there was a lot more planes taking off. And you'd hear that because they would be, taking off and landing. And then you'd find out. So they actually did missions where they would fly out of Scott all the way to the Middle East and fly back. Right. So they're not flying from some base overseas or anything. They're literally flying from the United States all the way over, doing something that's probably classified and coming back and landing. Mm-hmm. And so whenever you caught more air traffic, you knew that, if you watched the papers within a couple of days, something would be talked about. And the interesting thing about Scott was two things. So I don't know that they weren't doing bombings or anything, because that actually happens out of Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri.
Yep.
But I know they were doing medical runs, because I happened to know a doctor that was working there at the time, and he would fly all the way over and come all the way back within, like a day or something. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know exactly what was happening, but over time, so it makes sense. And it's also, they do a lot of missions that go all over the world just from that Air Force base, which is just crazy to think about. I don't know that people really think about that with any kind of regularity. Same thing with Whiteman in Missouri. They fly from there all over the world and do things and then come back to Missouri. Which I don't think that people realize that we have that kind of range on a regular basis. You know what I mean? They'll go, well, let me think about that. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, you look at the historical UFO sightings, pretty much everywhere in the U.S. And there's a lot of, there probably is a map out there of like all UFO sightings that have been cited by multiple people. A lot of them are right around Air Force bases. I know Wright-Patterson over in Ohio. They were the ones that I think conducted the actual like UFO investigation into Roswell. I could be wrong on that, but and then like Malmstrom in Montana. There's been a few other ones that they get a lot of like, there's a surge basically in those areas. And, a lot of it could be, again, maybe like they're testing out some new stealth plane. And so maybe that's why, if this was what this was, maybe that's something why Scott Air Force Base didn't say anything, because they were like, hey, we don't want to let it out. We're developing this new stealth plane, for bombing or for spying or whatever. But like, it is interesting that, there's so much surrounding Air Force bases. And it does make you wonder, like, is it an enemy that traveled here that is, kind of surveying the area and then disappears? Like, there's a lot of different things it could be. That's, it's, obviously with Occam's razor, right. That's a big play to this. And for those who don't know what that is, that's basically the easiest solution is probably the solution, so whatever makes the most sense, that's probably what it is. And so you got to think it's something with the Air Force Base. They're working on something, but the skeptic in me does say, I wonder if that is a UFO flying overhead. Like, hey, in case we attack, we got to watch these hotspots.
Right, exactly. Well, to me, the reason I brought this one up is massive scale. So it's 300 feet wide. This is 26 years ago that this happened, right? There is still nothing that is publicly available in the United States arsenal that is a 300-foot wide triangle that they're utilizing in any kind of defense initiative scenario. Mm-hmm. And that's a long time. 26 years is a long time to keep a secret.
Yeah, you would think like maybe there's something that comes out. It's like, oh, that kind of resembles the shape that everyone reported back in St. Clair in 2000.
Yeah.
But yeah, we haven't had anything. There's nothing.
Nothing.
Do they even they don't have any kind of triangular shaped aircraft in any of the military.
And then, as we heard from the story that I read, it hovered and then it moved very quickly, right? So it was like hover, and then it would just like shoot off into its next point, and then it would hover again. And we still don't have anything that does that. I mean, a helicopter, but nothing that's 300 foot wide.
Yeah.
And I actually had the pleasure, I suppose, of one day walking outside my house and seeing the Goodyear blimp go over to head down to Busch Stadium for a Cardinals game.
Nice.
And it's massive, and it was low and it was slow. And I actually got a picture of my daughter was little off of our porch with her in the foreground and the blimp in the background, because it literally went right over my house. And I mean, it is awe-inspiring when it's that close. And the blimp is not that big, I don't think. Let me see how big the Goodyear blimp is.
It's pretty big, but I don't think it's even 300 feet.
No. Let's see what Google has to say about the size of the Goodyear blimp. It's 246 feet, so it is almost 300 feet, 75 meters long, 64 feet wide. So, well,
the way that
how wide is a football field? I didn't even think about what that is.
That's a good question.
We don't think about how wide a football field is. You always think about how long it is.
Long, yep. Yeah, it's an interesting
160
thought.
feet. So this would have been longer than the Goodyear blimp and 3 times as wide.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's massive.
And you got to think too, from what I understand, and maybe you know more about this incident, is that there was not a lot of sound. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we heard this, clicking sound and then it just rushed off. Like, so for me, it's like Goodyear blimp, let's say it was something like that. There's kind of a sound of it's hovering that low that you would hear. And same thing with, like a jet. We hear a jet fly over and it is loud. You can, if it's low enough, it'll rattle the pictures on your walls, and like, from what I understand, there wasn't a whole lot of sound reported in this. And if it was hanging that low and it was a human-made object, you got to think there'd be some sound with it.
Now, I can tell you, just from trying to remember from memory here, that the Goodyear blimp was very silent and it was moving at a pretty good clip to get downtown at the time. They have, I call them fans, but they're not really fans. They're motors that propel it forward, right? And they're directional and whatnot. You could kind of hear that, but it wasn't like overwhelming. It was very subdued. It wasn't like a jet going over or anything like that. So it wasn't, like you could still have a conversation. It wasn't like, making you, driving you crazy or making you deaf or anything when it happened. So it could, if it was something fluid, but that wouldn't account for the speed between its hover stops. Because it sounds like, at least from the witness's testimony, that it hovered for a while and then it kind of shot off, which the blimp can't shoot off at all.
Those things do not move. I mean, they move pretty quick, but in terms of aircraft, it does not move quick.
No. So that's also interesting as far as that goes with this thing. So I'm on the fence. I mean, I every time I talk about this, I oscillate between it being the reason that the Scott Air Force Base didn't acknowledge it was because it's theirs. To being the reason they didn't acknowledge it because they had no idea what it was. And so it still sits in that kind of gray area where you don't know, because of the reaction of the Air Force Base is on both sides of the extreme.
Yep.
It's not anywhere in the middle. It's not, they give you no indication. They had to have seen it. I just cannot believe, even in 2000, that they didn't know that this thing went by.
Well, and you say even in 2000, it's not like this was, we communicated through smoke signals, you gotta figure, I would think, that if all these police officers saw it, whether it's a formal or an informal relationship, you have to think that one of those police officers was like, get Scott Air Force Base on the line. Like somebody asked them if they know what this is. Like,
I believe they did. Yeah, they believe they did.
Yeah. So even if the Air Force knew about it, the Air Force Base knew about it, the fact that we've heard nothing from them tells me they're just as bewildered as we are.
Exactly. Oh, look, there's nothing to see here. That's Scott Air Force Base. I have a little, little slide for that. So that's what makes me wonder so much about it. And Scott Air Force Base is not a well-known Air Force base. You know what I mean? And there's lots of interesting things going on there. And it's very low key. And so I wouldn't be surprised if it was part of that. But, you know, the fact that that we haven't seen any of this technology, out in the open here lately. I mean, think about it. In this, the Trump administration had sent people down to Venezuela, and they captured the president of Venezuela. And if you read any of the reports or anything about that, the people who were guarding the president and his family or whatever say that they basically were defenseless. The Americans kind of just dropped in. There was like a flash of light. They felt really sick. There was a feeling of euphoria, and they could not do anything. And they went in, they grabbed the president, and they left. Right? Mm-hmm. This is the U.S. military. This is Marines, right? And so that's a piece of technology that got used that you've never heard about until this situation, even though it's probably been used before. This is the first time that it's become public, right? Mm-hmm. And in 26 years, we haven't heard about this giant. I mean, this is on par with the Avengers of, flying aircraft carrier. That's how big this thing is, right?
Yep.
And we've never heard about this or anything. I don't know, man. We got to make a decision here before we wrap up. Was it a UFO or was it military? That's where it's heading, right?
I got to be honest with you. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but this is something I have literally laid in bed, like one of those, late night thoughts where getting ready to close my eyes, fall asleep. And I'm just like, whatever happened with that St. Clair aircraft, and like, it does make me think. And it's, again, like the fact that it's been 26 years now and we haven't heard, I mean, I can't think of any examples, but there's been situations where we're like, something unknown has happened. And, 20, 25 years later, government or whatever entity it was is like, yeah, that was us. We just didn't want to say it at the time. That has not been the case here. Still so many questions around this. And I know that I think there's even a channel for this on Reddit to where there's people still asking what happened.
What happened?
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, I mean, I got to think, man, I'm 100% on board with this being an actual UFO sighting. I think this was something that we were not meant to see. It was a situation where maybe one of the alien, the co-pilot, was eating some Cheetos that he picked up at the local Circle K, and he was just had his feet up on the dashboard and clicked the uncloak button, and
there you go.
Other pilot walks in. And, what are you doing? You just uncloaked us. Oh, shoot. Sorry. He's got the cheese fingers and he's trying to hit the right button, and that's why they zoomed away. And a million explanations it could be. Not saying that's the one, but definitely think it's I think this is something that could have very well have been a very real UFO sighting.
So the Peter principle goes into effect for all races, all nations, and all aliens.
Yep.
They rise to their highest level of incompetence.
That's right. Hey, I know that all too well. Bob, what do you think? Is this the real thing?
Well, every time I talk about this, because I've talked about it, not recorded, but talked about it, several times over the years with various people and get into conversations about this. And I flip-flop. Right now, from our conversation, I'm on Team Alien because I just have to think that, we would have seen a glimpse of something. Because, I mean, literally, this could be an aircraft carrier in the sky, and so you could have all of your operations be based off of this thing. And to me, that says that is too much of an advantage for the military not to have used somewhere, somehow, where people have seen it, other than in 2000 in Illinois, in the rural areas of Illinois, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, across from St. Louis. It just, and it went over St. Louis as well. If you read about the whole thing, whenever it left Millstadt, which is south of St. Louis, it headed across the river into Missouri before everybody lost everything. Yep. And so it's just outlandish to think that we haven't seen a glimpse of this in some way, even a smaller version of it in our military. You know what I mean?
Well, and you also, like you said, it flew back towards St. Louis. There was not any, indication from, let's just say, the Maryland Heights Airport, the Chesterfield Airport, that was like, oh, we saw this weird triangular object try to land, it literally just disappeared.
And there's also Park Airport downtown. It's actually on the east side. It's in the Illinois side. There's a little airport called Park Airport where a lot of private planes take off and everything. And they definitely would have been watching the area, because that's, they have a lot of traffic that for, kind of recreational flying that come in and out of there. So it's just amazing that, and not to mention Mascoutah, it basically flew over Mascoutah Airport, which is right by the Air Force Base.
Yep.
So anyway, I just can't believe that all these entities are totally in cahoots to cover up for something. So maybe it was Murray the alien hit the wrong button while he was licking his fingers. He put his elbow down. Boop. We're visible. Yep. And they're like, oh wait, we're supposed to be scanning fields for cow counts, and here we are. We're exposed.
We're exposed. We got cops calling us in. What are we gonna do?
What are these guys with a bad Polaroid camera? So, but I think you're right, Jeff. I'm gonna be on Alien, and the next time we talk, I'll probably switch back. I'll flip flop again. So, but Alien it is for now, and I think that obviously something happened, and we may never find out. But let's keep it in the back of our back pocket for later, and hopefully something will come out of this. St. Louis is actually quite a hub for military defense things that happen all around the St. Louis area. So maybe they were just checking us out.
Maybe, like we said, there's a lot of UFO sightings around Air Force bases. Maybe there's something about Scott that we just don't know.
Well, Jeff, you want to tell people again where they can find you, and then we'll wrap this up.
Sure. Yeah. So you can find me on all the socials. My kind of go-to name is J Ponder, Ponder 94. And you can also find the show, the Pondcast, over at, we're on all socials as Pondcast Convos, Convos. And obviously we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, YouTube, Friendster, I don't know, wherever you get, there it is. I like that.
Look at that.
But yeah, you wherever you get your shows, I said Friendster. I don't even think that's been around for about 30 years.
What was that older one? I can't remember the name of it now. Darn.
Napster.
No, well, Napster, but then there was the pre-Facebook thing. Oh gosh.
Oh, MySpace.
MySpace. It's on he's on MySpace.
Yeah, we're on MySpace. Find us over there at MySpace. It's us and Justin Timberlake. We're the only people still there. But yeah, so no, we're there. And then I'll also say, for any St. Louis people who are fans of our wonderful sport of hockey out here, new podcast coming out in September called Hockey Night in St. Louis. And we're going to focus not only on Blues, but all St. Louis hockey.
Oh, really?
So,
there you go.
So follow me on best way to see all this stuff, J Ponder 94 on all of your socials.
Wow, J Ponder 94. It has some significance, I'm assuming. So there you go.
Hockey number 94.
Oh, your hockey number.
Yep.
There you go. Is that right? At J Ponder.
That's correct.
94. There you go. Find him there. Follow him, and everybody loves the Blues. Come on, get out of town. So, Jeff, thank you very much. And everybody, we will talk to you next time. Keep your eye to the sky, keep your toes on the ground, and watch out for this crazy stuff. We'd love to hear about it. If you do find out, send me a note. Mondo Freako.